One afternoon, a blonde-haired young man named Akihito Kanbara unexpectedly saw a first-year student standing dangerously close to the edge of the school rooftop. Akihito wondered what the girl was doing. However, worried about her safety, Akihito rushed over, trying to persuade her not to think about jumping. But before he could react, the bespectacled girl suddenly approached him and stabbed Akihito with a mysterious red sword. Akihito asked the girl to pull out her sword, then the girl asked what kind of creature Akihito really was. That was the first encounter between Akihito and the bespectacled girl named Kuriyama Mirai. After the rooftop incident, Akihito continued his activities in the literature club, along with a woman named Mitsuki Nase, who was the club president. Together, they talked about their plans for the literature club in the future. While Mitsuki was talking, Akihito heard a commotion in another room. As he suspected, Kuriyama Mirai was the one causing the disturbance. Akihito asked Mirai what her purpose was in following him. But before Mirai could answer, Akihito explained that it was pointless to try to kill him because he was a half-human, half-phantom, or yumu, with an immortal body. Mirai replied that she didn't care because she was a spirit world warrior tasked with exterminating yumu. After saying that, Mirai simply left Akihito. After that, Akihito returned to his clubroom where Mitsuki teased him, saying that he should give Mirai a chance to attack as often as she wanted, but Akihito refused, claiming that even though he wouldn't die, he still felt pain that he couldn't get used to. Then, Akihito wondered why Mirai was so persistent in attacking him, until he concluded that Mirai might have feelings for him, which made him happy because he liked girls with glasses. But Mitsuki warned him not to get involved with someone like Mirai. After school, Akihito came out of the clubroom and found Mirai waiting for him. Akihito asked about the power Mirai possessed. Mirai explained that she was the last descendant of a cursed clan who could manipulate blood as their weapon. Mirai then manipulated her blood and turned it into a sword. Seeing this, Akihito instinctively fled from Mirai. Akihito kept running while throwing objects to hinder Mirai. Their fight ended when Mirai's stomach growled from hunger. Akihito invited her to eat, but suddenly a yumu appeared and attacked them. Facing the yomu, Mirai trembled with fear, while their school teacher, Shizuku Ninomiya, came to their rescue and chased after the yumu. That night, Mirai and Akihito enjoyed a delicious meal at a restaurant at Akihito's expense. Mirai told Akihito that she had never killed a yumu before, but when Akihito asked her the reason, she ignored him. The next day, Akihito and Mitsuki met in the school cafeteria. After a brief conversation, Mitsuki revealed her true intentions and asked Akihito to sever all ties with Mirai. She explained that the Nase family was closely monitoring Mirai Kuriyama and warned Akihito that something bad could happen to him if he continued to associate with her. Akihito and Mirai met again in the park. Akihito asked Mirai the reason she was visiting the city. However, instead of answering Akihito, Mirai focused on eating. Then Akihito asked again why she didn't eat in her apartment. Finally, Akihito learned that there was a yumu nesting in her apartment and Mirai was hesitant to defeat it. Later that night, Akihito accompanied Mirai to her apartment. At first, everything seemed normal, but suddenly the peace was shattered when supernatural phenomena began to occur. They found themselves involved in a sudden confrontation with a menacing yumu, which manifested in the form of a ghostly mummy. The appearance of the yumu brought back painful memories from Akihito's past. As the yumu attacked him, he was saved by Mirai. Then the yumu fled through the window. Mirai relentlessly pursued the yumu, determined to prevent its escape. Mirai's skillful blood manipulation abilities allowed her to parry the yumu's attacks. But the yumu evaded Mirai's assault by hiding. When it reappeared, Mirai quickly delivered several blows until the yumu was finally cornered. But as Mirai was about to finish it, she hesitated and failed to strike the yumu's eye. As the monster tried to escape by flying away, Mirai released her ring, which was a seal on her power. With a burst of cursed blood, the yumu was successfully brought down. As she was about to finish off the yumu, Mirai hesitated again, remembering her past. When Akihito urged her to hurry, Mirai finally managed to kill the yumu. Afterward, Akihito gave her the remains of the yumu, which resembled a precious ore. Akihito also told Mirai that there was someone in the city who accepted this ore and gave money in return. But Mirai was exhausted at that point due to blood loss. The next day, Akihito and Mirai visited the yumu ore appraiser. Akihito told Mirai that Ayaka Shindo was the official yumu appraiser in their city. At the shop, they were greeted by Ai Shindo, who told them that Ayaka was currently sleeping. Mirai suddenly drew her sword when she learned that Ai was a Yumu, but Ai explained that not all Yumu were enemies of humans. She even showed them her work certificate approved by the Spirit World Society. Shortly after, Mitsuki approached them, so Akihito introduced Mirai to his club president, Mitsuki. As they were all talking, Akihito asked Ai and Mitsuki about the Yumu that had been rather aggressive lately, but he didn't get a satisfactory answer. While walking to school, Akihito offered Mirai to join the literature club, but Mirai just ignored him. At school, Akihito decided to talk to Hiromi Nase, who was relaxing on the rooftop. Hiromi was Mitsuki's older brother who was in charge of setting up barriers at the school. Akihito questioned Hiromi about the Yumu that had become aggressive in recent days. Hiromi refused to answer and also reminded Akihito that he roamed freely because of their ceasefire agreement. For that reason, Hiromi warned Akihito not to interfere in the affairs of Spirit World warriors. On the other hand, Mirai was lost on her way to Ayaka's place. Fortunately, Mitsuki saw her and invited her to walk together. During their walk, Mirai asked about Mitsuki's closeness to Akihito, but Mitsuki said it was just a misunderstanding, as her closeness to Akihito was only for surveillance. Meanwhile, Akihito handed his mother's postcard to Ayaka, who used magic to decipher the message within. However, his mother behaved embarrassingly. Just then, Mitsuki and Mirai arrived and saw the message. Akihito's mother warned that a powerful Yumu called the Hollow Shadow would enter the city, so he had to stay indoors that night. Ayaka told him that it was a powerful being without a physical body. This information made Akihito understand why the Yumu had been aggressive lately. After that, Ayaka appraised Mirai's Yumu remains, giving her only 1,000 yen, which made her sulk. Mirai used the money to treat Akihito to a meal. At that time, Akihito again invited her to join the literature club. But Mirai replied that she didn't deserve to live a normal life like others because of her past where she had killed. The next day, while chasing a Yumu, Mirai entered an empty building where she cornered it. However, as Mirai moved forward to deliver the final blow, she hesitated, giving the Yumu a chance to escape. But Mitsuki assisted her with her familiar Yakimo, who slashed at the Yumu and presented its oar to Mirai. But Mirai refused to take the oar. At the Nase residence, an investigation officer, Miroku Fujima from the Spirit World Warriors, met with Izumi Nase. Miroku informed her of his arrival in the city to investigate the approaching Hollow Shadow. Therefore, he requested permission from Izumi Nase, who was the guardian of the city. At school, Akihito found Mirai eating instant noodles because she was out of money. Akihito approached Mirai and gave her the money he received for the Yumu that Mitsuki defeated. Although Mirai was reluctant to accept it, the large sum of money made her take it. After taking the money, Mirai decided to leave. Meanwhile, Akihito met with Hiromi to discuss Mirai's situation. Akihito inquired about Mirai's past, but Hiromi remained firm in his answer, claiming that he knew nothing. Their conversation shifted direction as they eventually discussed the most beautiful girls. Akihito claimed that women with glasses were the best, while Hiromi said younger sisters were the best. Not long after, Mitsuki arrived and joined their conversation. While talking to her older brother, Mitsuki secretly handed a piece of paper to Akihito. After school, Akihito met Mitsuki at an abandoned train station. There, Mitsuki informed him that she had information regarding Mirai. Mitsuki said that Mirai would likely intend to fight the Hollow Shadow alone, and if that happened, her safety would be in danger. As night fell, Ai observed the sky turning purple while Ayaka informed her that it was due to the influence of the Hollow Shadow. Then, Ayaka created a large barrier around her area, causing many Yumu to perish. Meanwhile, as Akihito went to Mirai's apartment, he intended to dissuade Mirai from her plan to fight the Hollow Shadow. Mirai then told him about her past. She was once adopted by a kind family who weren't afraid of her powers. The child of that family, named Yui, always invited her to play. But one day, Yui was possessed by the Hollow Shadow, which led Mirai to kill Yui. Since then, Mirai harbored a grudge against the Hollow Shadow. Mirai claimed that people like Akihito couldn't understand her pain because he was always surrounded by people who cared about him. Meanwhile, around the city, Hiromi and the others created barriers, but he was attacked by various Yumu that he killed while maintaining the barrier. Mirai walked towards the forest and unleashed her power to pursue and attack the Hollow Shadow. However, Mirai was ambushed by the woman Sakura, and they were sucked into the creature's power. Inside, Sakura continued to attack Mirai. Although Mirai tried her best to avoid Sakura's attacks, fortunately, Just as Sakura's attack was about to succeed, Akihito came to her rescue, appearing out of nowhere while claiming that Mirai knew nothing about his life. After that, Akihito asked Mirai to run, but because Mirai was exhausted, Akihito decided to carry her on his back. As Akihito ran, Sakura attacked them, but Mirai used Sakura's attack to create a wall between them, allowing them to escape. Elsewhere, Hiromi received a call from his younger sister, asking about Akihito's whereabouts. Hiromi replied that he didn't know, but he would look for him because his beloved younger sister had asked him to. After getting some distance from Sakura, Akihito again asked who that woman really was. Mirai told him that Sakura was Yui's younger sister. Mirai also told Akihito that Sakura wasn't technically a spirit world warrior because she didn't possess any supernatural powers. Suddenly, the train began to move, and Mirai encountered Yui in one of the cars, so she went inside, but no matter how she tried, Mirai couldn't find Yui. However, as they reached the end of the train car, the hollow shadow took Yui's form and attacked them, capturing Mirai. The shadow manipulated other Yumu that approached Mirai to kill her, but Akihito yelled and said that it wasn't the real Yui and threw Mirai's ring at it. When Mirai saw the ring, she returned to reality. While thinking of Yui, she used her blood to break free from the monster's grasp. Then, as the monster returned to its original form, Mirai stabbed it while spreading her blood, causing the monster to disappear. And finally, they all escaped the illusion. Akihito tried to approach the injured Mirai, but she stopped him as her cursed blood rained down from the sky. Sakura told Akihito about Mirai's cursed nature and claimed that she was a grim reaper who killed everyone who stood in her way. After that, Sakura decided to leave. Afterward, Mirai asked Akihito if she looked more human now. Akihito replied that she was just a beautiful girl with glasses. As Akihito moved towards Mirai, the hollow shadow suddenly possessed Akihito's body and tried to take over. Akihito then told Mirai to stab him and kill the hollow shadow. Mirai hesitated to do it, but after Akihito convinced her, Mirai stabbed him and also sprayed her cursed blood into Akihito's body, causing the creature to flee. Then Mirai attacked it with all her might, finally killing the monster for good. When Mirai tried to approach Akihito, Hiromi and the others stopped her. Then Hiromi created a barrier around Akihito's trembling body. The others also prepared to attack. Ayaka told Mirai that when Akihito's body was critical, the Yumu inside him would awaken and become uncontrollable, so they had to prevent it. Otherwise, Hiromi would be forced to kill him. After the Yumu awakened, its screams even began to shatter the barrier. Ayaka was tasked with regenerating the barrier. As Akihito launched an attack, one of his energy balls caused a massive explosion that shocked everyone. Shizuku tried her best to handle the situation, but Akihito released many fireballs, which Izumi fortunately stopped. The situation became more complicated after they all lay on the ground, failing to stop Akihito. Mirai, understanding Akihito's situation, approached him to stop him. Although Akihito also attacked Mirai, she managed to subdue him when she hugged him tightly. Shortly after, Akihito regained consciousness and saw what his Yumu had done while Mirai hugged him tightly, apologizing for her behavior. After recovering from her injuries, Mirai ate at a restaurant, sulking because the ore she obtained wasn't the hollow shadow. Depressed by recent events, Akihito asked Mirai if he looked more human. Then Mirai replied that, to her, Akihito just looked like a glasses-obsessed senior. Meanwhile, Izumi had apparently taken the ore from the hollow shadow and reported to the elders of the Nase family. Izumi also mentioned that their preparations were almost complete for the next phase of their plan. Following the hollow shadow incident, Akihito brought Mirai to the literature club room. Akihito and Hiromi tried to convince Mirai to join the literature club. Initially, Mirai refused, but when she saw a gardening encyclopedia, she became interested and agreed to join the club without much thought. While Mirai read the book, Akihito and Hiromi were engrossed in discussing their fetishes. According to Hiromi, Mirai could be the perfect little sister character. As the two teased Mirai, Mitsuki arrived to defend her and scolded the boys for their behavior. Afterward, Mirai introduced herself to Mitsuki and her intention to join the club, which Mitsuki welcomed. Later that day, Akihito, Mitsuki, and Hiromi accompanied Mirai to the Nas residence. They met Izumi, where Mirai surrendered her Spirit World Warrior identification card as punishment for her actions during the Hollow Shadow incident. Izumi also reprimanded Akihito for his involvement in the incident. However, after taking Mirai's card, Izumi asked to speak with Mirai alone. With her license suspended, Mirai would have difficulty earning money. To that end, Akihito suggested that Mirai find a part-time job to make ends meet and ask Mitsuki to help her. At a cafe while they sat together, Mirai tried to chat with Mitsuki, who tended to be quiet around her. However, Mirai's cute behavior made Mitsuki less awkward, and she introduced her familiar partner, Yakimo. They also discussed various topics, including Akihito's past arguments with Hiromi and the Nase family's surveillance of Akihito. As they were engrossed in conversation, Mirai and Mitsuki suddenly sensed the presence of someone possessed by a yumu. After that, they decided to help exorcise the yumu from the person. Mirai led the person to an empty building, and Mitsuki created a barrier around it. They quickly defeated the yumu, preventing danger to others. Impressed by Mirai's quick actions, Mitsuki claimed that Mirai had grown a lot. Afterward, Shizuku arrived, prompting Mirai to give her the yumu ore since she couldn't get money for it. To thank them, Shizuku decided to treat Mitsuki and Mirai to a nearby restaurant. When Mirai saw the meat in front of her, she couldn't help but show her happy expression. As they talked, Mirai noticed a Lantern Festival poster and asked them about it. Shizuku reluctantly revealed that it was only for couples. Mitsuki also said she had never attended the Lantern Festival due to her duties in the Nase family. The next day, Akihito didn't go to school, and Mitsuki took Mirai to Ayaka's photo studio as part of Mirai's part-time job. Mirai was initially embarrassed to pose in a maid outfit, but her discomfort lessened when she learned she was being paid well. Later in the afternoon, as they were getting ready for the Lantern Festival, Ayaka told Mitsuki and Mirai that Akihito was depressed because of the Hollow Shadow incident, where his yumu hadn't been as controllable as before. After getting ready, Shizuku joined Ayaka and I to go to the Lantern Festival together. Mitsuki and Mirai decided to stay at the photo studio to help close up. Mirai tried to persuade Mitsuki to attend the festival, but Mitsuki remained firm in her decision not to go. However, Mirai's enthusiasm for joining the celebration finally convinced Mitsuki to change her mind. As they walked along the lantern-adorned street, they were captivated by the beauty of the scene. At that moment, Hiromi also dragged Akihito to the festival. Eventually, they all enjoyed the festival together. In the clubroom, Mitsuki warmly welcomed Mirai to the literature club, encouraging her to enjoy her high school life. Meanwhile, Mirai's obsession with bonsai became known to the club members. Mirai even claimed that she spent a lot of money buying them. However, the sound of Mirai's stomach rumbling made Akihito tease that she should use her money for food. But Mirai said not to worry because her license was back so she could earn money. After school, Mirai continued her part-time job as Ayaka's model at the photo studio. Akihito asked Ayaka how much Mirai's photos cost. Afterward, Mirai sought advice on which yumu she could hunt to earn enough money. Ayaka directed her to a fruit-type yumu located on their school rooftop, estimating its value at around 50,000 yen. Hearing this, Mirai hurriedly returned to school without fully grasping the important details about the yumu. Unfortunately, Akihito arrived too late to inform Mirai, and as Mirai was about to attack, the yumu released a foul-smelling yellow liquid that ended up engulfing them. However, Mirai and Akihito didn't give up, and after taking a shower, they continued to fight the yumu. Mirai decided to attack the yumu from above, hoping it wouldn't notice, but their plan failed again and resulted in them getting sprayed with the smelly liquid again. After that, they decided to leave the school. During their journey, people around them complained about the mysterious odor. The next day, Mirai and Akihito received some important information about the fruit-type yumu from Ai. Ai explained that the yumu was easily distracted by cute girls. Akihito asked Mitsuki for help in fighting the yumu. Although initially reluctant, Mitsuki eventually intended to help them. The following Sunday, they began to confront the yumu. Mirai would be used as bait, wearing idol clothes and striking alluring poses that successfully attracted the yumu's attention. Then Mitsuki and her familiar were assigned to attack the yumu. Unfortunately, their plan failed when Mitsuki's familiar became exhausted from overeating. As a result, the yumu drenched everyone with its foul-smelling liquid. However, it turned out that Mitsuki was soaked in a different, extremely pungent liquid, and the smell wouldn't go away until the yumu died. Akihito and Mirai considered giving up because they couldn't stand such a yumu. However, Mitsuki refused to back down because she couldn't bear to keep smelling like feces. Mitsuki even removed Akihito's mask so he could understand her suffering. Sometime later, they intended to fight the yumu again. Mitsuki covered her body with a magic barrier to prevent the smell from spreading. Hiromi told them another important detail to defeat the fruit yumu. It could also be distracted by songs and dances. As they decided to use that method, Akihito suddenly remembered that Mirai was a terrible singer, which caused the yumu to release its foul liquid, drenching the group and leading to another defeat. This defeat made them all gather their resolve and decide to try again. They decided to practice singing and dancing for a week. After a week, they started a performance on the rooftop with idol-style singing and dancing. The Yumu was completely engrossed and distracted. However, to their surprise, they realized that with everyone dancing, there was no one left to deliver the final blow to the Yumu. In a devastating turn of events, as the song ended, the Yumu exploded once more with the liquid flooding the rooftop and leaving them disappointed and frustrated. Elsewhere, Sakura hunted Yumu while reminiscing about the past with her older sister Yui. Her sister had once told her that Sakura didn't possess the powers of a spirit world warrior, unlike her and Mirai. Therefore, Yui advised Sakura to stay indoors. After defeating the Yumu, she strengthened her weapon by devouring the Yumu's ore. In the literature club room, Mirai scolded a baseball player when a baseball hit her bonsai tree. Shortly after, Shizuku arrived and delivered surprising news to Mirai, informing her about Sakura's transfer to their school. Mirai was taken aback by this news, unsure how to react. Shizuku suggested that Mirai seek help from the influential Naze family to prevent Sakura's transfer. However, contemplating the situation, Mirai decided not to take any action. That night, on his way home, Akihito saw Sakura fighting a Yumu. Sakura exerted all her strength, causing her to become exhausted and eventually faint. Akihito saved Sakura from the attacking Yumu by using his weapon. Afterward, Akihito took Sakura to his house and prepared a meal. But Sakura refused to eat, claiming that it didn't taste good. Akihito told Sakura that her weapon was much stronger but had an effect that could destroy her. Sakura admitted that the weapon was borrowed from someone, and she had to kill Mirai Kuriyama for the weapon to become hers. Akihito asked Sakura who gave her the weapon, which turned out to be a man. After that, the doorbell suddenly rang, and it turned out that Mirai had come to visit Akihito. Akihito hurriedly hid Sakura in the closet. When he opened the door, he tried to persuade Mirai to leave immediately, but his efforts were in vain, especially when Mirai noticed a pair of women's shoes at Akihito's place. Mirai began to think suspiciously about who was inside, but Akihito immediately told Mirai that Sakura was in the room because she was injured. However, Sakura unexpectedly decided to leave the place. The next day, Sakura transferred to their school class and was in Mirai's class. During swimming class, Akihito observed Mirai and said he was worried about her. Afterward, in the club room, Akihito told Hiromi about what he had discovered regarding Sakura. He also said that Mirai intended to resolve the issue between her and Sakura. Hiromi simply replied not to interfere. After school, it rained, and Mirai bravely confronted Sakura in a nearby market, determined to defend herself and overcome her own regrets surrounding Yui's death. This time, Mirai refused to back down, realizing that death wouldn't alleviate her pain. As the two fought, Mirai demonstrated her growth and pointed out the difference between her and Sakura's powers. Then, Mirai revealed that she had been holding back during the fight in the hollow shadow. As the battle continued, Sakura finally admitted defeat, but the weapon in Sakura's hand turned against her, trying to devour Sakura. In a swift and decisive move, Mirai intervened and saved Sakura from the weapon's attack. After the fight, Mirai revealed that she missed the old Sakura who always cared for her and Yui. Mirai's actions and words moved Sakura, and she finally decided to make peace with Mirai. Meanwhile, Miroku retrieved Sakura's discarded weapon, disappointed that he had deceived Sakura. He said his weapon had become stronger, but his next target was to absorb the Hollow Shadow's power. Later that night, Mitsuki met Azumi, who had a confused expression. Azumi noticed that the city streets were changing, which prompted Mitsuki to ask Azumi about this phenomenon. Azumi revealed that it was a sign of the approaching Nagi, a time when everything comes to a standstill, and that phenomenon was called Beyond the Boundary. As morning arrived, Azumi scalded one of her servants and used a spell that caused her consciousness to drift away. Meanwhile, Mitsuki wondered about the approaching Nagi as she recalled her older sister's words. Early in the morning, Mirai woke up Sakura, who was now staying with her. Sakura said that she had no reason to attend school. However, Mirai tried to scold her and forced her to get ready. At the train station, they met Akihito, who asked why they were late. After hearing Mirai's explanation, Akihito felt sleepy and dozed off. After school, they gathered at Ayaka's residence. Then a postcard from Akihito's mom arrived, in which she scolded her son for not heeding her warnings about the Hollow Shadow incident. Meanwhile, Akihito observed Mirai in one of her costumes and decided to take a photo, but Ayaka intervened as she demanded money for such photos. Afterward, as his mother's message continued, she informed everyone that the Nagi was coming and they needed to be careful. Following that, Ai explained the phenomenon of the Nagi. According to her, the Nagi would fully arrive at midnight and this would weaken phantom powers. At times like this, spirit world warriors would hunt spirits that were previously strong or difficult to defeat. Then, Ayaka added that with the arrival of the Nagi, there might be people targeting Akihito to kill him. On her way home, Mitsuki encountered Miroku. Miroku told Mitsuki that Yumu were formed as a result of people's hatred and could cause disasters and illnesses of all kinds. Afterward, Miroku revealed the true identity of the entity behind the Nagi phenomenon, a powerful human known as Beyond the Boundary, which made Mitsuki recall Izumi's words. Miroku informed Mitsuki that the Inami family tried to kill Mirai, but Izumi came to her rescue and brought her here without knowing her intentions. After that, they stopped at the beach. Mitsuki asked if her older sister's plan had anything to do with Beyond the Boundary. Not answering, Miroku suddenly approached Mitsuki. Hiromi, who had been secretly following his younger sister, suddenly appeared. A brief altercation occurred between Hiromi and Miroku, but it ended with Miroku successfully escaping. While Akihito was on the train, he fell asleep and dreamed about his friends being afraid of him. After that, Akihito met Izumi, who used a glacial barrier on him, causing him to lose consciousness and later be found inside the train. Akihito was taken to Ayaka's house to rest. Mirai and Sakura were also there with Ayaka to examine Akihito, and they realized that both his Yumu and human sides had weakened significantly. After some time passed, the city transformed into a battlefield between Spirit World warriors and Yumu. The weakened Yumu became easy prey for the Spirit World warriors, who saw an opportunity to kill them. Amidst the chaos, Hiromi met Mitsuki to discuss her encounter with Miroku and warned her, suggesting that Miroku might be spreading lies to sow discord within the Nas family. In another location, Sakura and Mirai were shopping for food supplies. Noticing Mirai was often lost in thought, Sakura asked who Akihito was to Mirai. Mirai replied that Akihito was the only person who didn't see her as different. After that, Sakura suggested that Mirai stay by Akihito's side. Hearing that, Mirai immediately ran towards Akihito's location. Meanwhile, Miroku arrived at Ayaka's residence and demanded that Ayaka hand over Akihito. However, Ayaka firmly refused to comply and prepared to fight. Ayaka transformed into a nine-tailed silver fox. But the effects of the Nagi had greatly weakened her, allowing Miroku to defeat her while also praising Ayaka for her great power. Fortunately, Izumi intervened, saving Ayaka from Miroku's attack. Meanwhile, as Ai watched over Akihito in his Yumu form, the Yumu within Akihito began to slowly awaken. Amidst the ongoing chaotic battle between Spirit World warriors and Yumu, Mirai hurried back to Ayaka's residence. Inside, she found Ai unconscious and Akihito already transformed into his Yumu form, which terrified her. Elsewhere, Mitsuki and Hiromi found themselves locked in a fierce struggle against a powerful Yumu. Despite its weakened state due to the Nagi, the towering creature posed a significant threat. Nevertheless, Hiromi and Mitsuki's combined attacks at least managed to restrain the Yumu. Meanwhile, Izumi and Miroku were engaged in intense combat. Miroku finally realized just how strong the successor of the Neze family was. After a prolonged fight, Izumi managed to land a blow on Miroku. Izumi questioned his motives all this time, but Miroku remained silent and refused to reveal any information. Suddenly, an explosion rocked the surrounding area, giving Miroku an opportunity to escape. In the chaos of the explosion, Mirai found herself face to face with the now Yumu Akihito. Afterward, Ayaka arrived and took Ai to a safe place, away from danger. Left alone, Mirai realized that she had to confront Akihito once again. But before she could move, Izumi suddenly appeared and attacked Akihito, but her attack was unsuccessful. Akihito retaliated with an explosion and used the opportunity to flee. Mitsuki and Hiromi combined their barrier magic to fight the giant Yumu, and by expending a large amount of energy, they finally managed to defeat the Yumu. Afterward, they regrouped with Izumi and Mirai, and together they headed towards Akihito's apartment. Upon arriving, Mirai recalled Ayaka's explanation that Akihito's human side was weakening, causing his Yumu side to take over. As the group processed this newfound information, they realized that they had to find Akihito quickly, not only to understand the truth behind his transformation, but also to ensure his safety. Afterward, they decided to head to Akihito's location. Their eyes were drawn to a large crater, likely a result of Akihito's power. While Izumi was investigating Akihito's tracks, She asked Mirai to kill Akihito when they met again. Izumi argued that after the Nagi phenomenon ended, the Yumu form would settle in Akihito's body, and that would be a great danger. Mirai began to think hard about Izumi's words, and she was certainly hesitant to take Akihito's life. At the Nasai residence, Hiromi began to suspect his older sister Izumi. Afterward, he questioned Izumi, saying that Izumi had manipulated Mirai to kill Akihito and even weakened Akihito's human side so that the Yumu would take over his body. But Izumi gave no answer and simply left him. The next afternoon, Mirai met with Hiromi, signaling her readiness to even kill Akihito if necessary. Mirai also recounted going through many things with Akihito and felt that she was cursed to have to end this. Afterward, Hiromi investigated Izumi's intentions towards Mirai, searching for theories about beyond the boundary that might be related to Akihito. Then Hiromi was shocked to find Miroku suddenly entering and absorbing the power of the hollow shadow ore in the Nei's family's secret room and then immediately fleeing. Elsewhere, Mirai had found Akihito's location. Then she contacted Hiromi, stating her decision to confront and possibly kill Akihito. However, Akihito suddenly awoke and faced Mirai. Although hesitant, Mirai was forced to act, removing her glasses as a symbol of leaving the past behind and fulfilling her duty. She then stabbed Akihito with her cursed sword. After the fight, Akihito woke up in the hospital with Mirai asleep by his side. Afterward, Mirai woke up with a disheveled face and Akihito laughed at the sight. While cooking, Mirai explained what had happened during their previous fight. Then Akihito was quite surprised by Mirai's cooking, which had apparently used up all the food in his refrigerator. Sakura visited Akihito and she explained that Mirai was the one who had been taking care of him while he was ill. After that, Akihito and Mirai enjoyed a peaceful moment in the school club room until the afternoon. Akihito tried to invite Mirai to go out for a meal as a thank you for taking care of him while he was injured. However, Mirai refused and said that it would all end after sunset. Akihito didn't understand what Mirai meant until he suddenly saw the events of his fight with Mirai reflected in the window. Mirai explained that beyond the boundary had been residing within Akihito's body all this time, and Mirai was tasked with eliminating it. But because Mirai couldn't bring herself to kill Akihito, Mirai used another method. With the influence of the Nagi weakening phantoms and her blood curse, Mirai chose to vanish along with beyond the boundary. Mirai further explained that what she was experiencing now was a dream, and she was just a small part of the blood remaining in Akihito's body. This dream would soon end because Akihito would wake up. They were transported to a field of sunflowers where Mirai tried to kiss Akihito. After that, Mirai said goodbye and disappeared, and Akihito woke up in the hospital in autumn, seeing Mirai's glasses. 6 months earlier, after the Yui and Hollow Shadow incident, Mirai was taken by Izumi to the Naze family elders. Mirai, under Izumi's orders, was tasked with killing Akihito to eliminate beyond the boundary. According to Izumi, the only thing that could defeat beyond the boundary was Mirai's cursed blood power. Mirai initially carried out her mission by trying various attacks on Akihito. However, as time passed, she and Akihito grew closer. Mirai began to understand Akihito's suffering, which turned out to be similar to her own, and their closeness made Mirai hesitate to kill Akihito. Mirai, struggling to carry out her task, confided in Izumi. Izumi told Mirai that she had to distance herself from Akihito in order to complete her mission. But as the days went by, Mirai's resolve to kill Akihito weakened. 1 month ago, when the Nagi phenomenon appeared, Mirai met with Izumi at a restaurant. Izumi revealed that there was a way to eliminate beyond the boundary without having to kill Akihito, and Mirai decided to use that method even though it meant sacrificing herself. Akihito recovered and watched the autumn leaves fall. Then Mitsuki came to visit, quite surprised to see Akihito awake, but Akihito only asked about Mirai's condition. Elsewhere, Miroku had maximized his weapon's power. Hiromi also visited the hospital and explained that Akihito had been in a coma for 3 months. Hiromi added that Akihito was no longer immortal because beyond the boundary had left his body, all thanks to Mirai's sacrifice. Suddenly, Akihito heard a rumbling sound from the sky, but Hiromi and Mitsuki didn't hear it. They went to Ayaka's residence to seek answers. After eating at Ayaka's cafe, Akihito heard the mysterious sound again. Ayaka suspected it was related to Akihito's connection with Beyond the Boundary. Akihito then asked Hiromi to arrange a meeting with Izumi. Although Hiromi said it was pointless, Akihito insisted on meeting Izumi. Akihito and Izumi met in a park. Then Izumi explained the myth of Beyond the Boundary as an accumulation of human hatred, and that the world would end if they didn't act. The Spirit World warriors initially wanted to destroy Akihito for harboring a powerful Yumu. Izumi recruited Mirai to do it, but Mirai ultimately changed her goal to save Akihito. Despite her mixed feelings, Izumi was grateful to Mirai. Izumi said that Akihito also had the right to hate her for all of this. Akihito walked through the night city, haunted by his memories with Mirai. At Mirai's apartment, Sakura angrily questioned Akihito about Mirai's whereabouts. Akihito remained silent. Returning home after 3 months, Akihito found Mirai's last message, revealing that meeting Akihito made her realize she was born to protect, and she was happy to have protected Akihito. As she sent this message, Mirai said she was going to defeat Beyond the Boundary. For that, Mirai asked him to live his life seriously because he was no longer immortal. The message moved Akihito deeply. Elsewhere, Miroku realized that Beyond the Boundary still existed and was merged with Mirai. The powerful being had formed its own dimension and was fighting Mirai. Beyond the Boundary was also draining the power of all the Spirit World warriors and Yumu in the vicinity during its battle with Mirai. To provoke Izumi, Miroku wanted to strengthen Beyond the Boundary. With his enhanced weapon, he fired a massive amount of energy towards Beyond the Boundary's dimension, turning it into a black sphere visible to ordinary humans and drawing all Yumu into it, including Ayaka and Ai, who floated towards the sphere. Akihito received an invitation to school via a literature club flyer and headed there. On the way, he met Hiromi, Mitsuki, Sakura, and Shizuku, witnessing Yumu being sucked into the sphere. They went to school and were surprised to see a giant suit of armor, which turned out to be Akihito's mother, Yayoi Kanbara. Yayoi explained that Mirai was still alive and was currently fighting Beyond the Boundary. She then showed them a stone Mirai had obtained from the Hollow Shadow, which was actually a fragment of Akihito and Beyond the Boundary. Yayoi's plan was for Akihito to merge with the fragment to enter Beyond the Boundary's dimension and help Mirai. Izumi warned Akihito about his lost immortality, but Akihito resolutely merged with the stone and ran towards Mirai's location. Finally, Akihito managed to meet Mirai, who was battered from fighting Beyond the Boundary. Within the Beyond the Boundary dimension, Mirai was annoyed that Akihito's arrival had thwarted her self-sacrifice. Akihito said it was pointless for him to remain alive if there was a future without Mirai. Hearing Akihito's feelings, Mirai began to reconsider. Meanwhile, Izumi asked Yayoi about Akihito, but Yayoi evaded the question, saying there was no time to explain it all. Yayoi said they had to focus on dealing with the light caused by Miroku's actions. Mirai and Akihito were confused, searching for a way to fight Beyond the Boundary. And as they looked for its weakness, the creature attacked them with many fireballs, which Mirai thankfully managed to block. In a moment of carelessness, a fireball almost hit Mirai. Fortunately, Akihito saved her by using his Yumu powers. Elsewhere, Miroku was disappointed with Beyond the Boundary's power, suspecting a lack of energy or Mirai's blood potential as the cause. Suddenly, Shizuku and Izumi arrived, but their attacks were quickly blocked by Miroku using his enhanced weapon. Sakura, Mitsuki, and Hiromi arrived and surrounded Miroku. But Miroku used a barrier spell to isolate himself and Izumi from outside interference. Akihito and Mirai took a scooter, speeding through the chaos of Yumu and the chaotic Beyond the Boundary dimension. They finally reached the highest point, and Mirai gathered her courage and pierced the core of Beyond the Boundary. Then Mirai jumped towards the creature's core, deflecting all attacks with Akihito's support from behind. She even defeated all the Yumu that stood in her way. Finally reaching the creature's core, Mirai stabbed it with her cursed blood sword, shattering it into pieces. Miroku had been waiting for this to happen. He explained that Beyond the Boundary would break free from Mirai and merge with all the Yumu to destroy the world. Miroku also helped channel a massive amount of energy to the creature. Izumi attacked Miroku, but Miroku was able to block her with Yumu power. As Hiromi came to help, Miroku revealed that Izumi harbored a Yumu within herself. Enraged, Izumi then managed to attack Miroku and stab him, but Miroku decided to self-destruct. On the other side, Mirai and Akihito held hands, surrounded by Yumu emerging from Beyond the Boundary. Then they decided to eliminate every Yumu there. Akihito used his Yumu powers to defeat the Yumu one by one. Mirai also used the power of her cursed blood sword, slashing down every Yumu that stood in her way. Fortunately, Ayaka and I arrived and helped them defeat the Yumu. After a long battle, they finally managed to eliminate all the Yumu. The massive form of Beyond the Boundary appeared in Akihito's guise and attacked Akihito. Akihito endured every attack, then said that he understood all the emotions that Beyond the Boundary possessed because Akihito was also a part of the creature. Then, with a powerful blow, Akihito reunited with Beyond the Boundary, which returned inside him. Mirai tried to reach for Akihito, but the sound of her cracking legs stopped her. With a trembling voice, she asked Akihito to come closer and stroked his head, then thanked him. As Akihito obeyed, tears streamed down Mirai's face. Mirai said that because Beyond the Boundary had returned to Akihito's body, her existence could no longer be sustained. Then Mirai said goodbye, and her body vanished into dust. With unwavering resolve, Akihito jumped off the collapsing cliff in the fading Beyond the Boundary dimension, clutching Mirai's ring tightly. Time passed, memories remained. In his apartment, Akihito kept many of Mirai's glasses. Shizuku fought on as a Yumu exterminator. Sakura and I forged a friendship. The mysterious Mirai had disappeared. Izumi left after speaking with Hiromi, leaving Hiromi with the responsibility of succeeding the Neisei family. In the literature club, life returned to normal, but the loss of Mirai weighed heavily on Akihito and was noticed by his friends. One day, Akihito realized Mirai's ring was gone from his hand. A sudden impulse took him to the rooftop, the place where their destinies had intertwined. There, Mirai stood looking at the twilight sky, hearing Akihito's confession of his love for the girl with glasses. Fate brought them back together, Mirai wearing her new red glasses.